I'm pleased now to introduce today's witness. Ms. Deanne Criswell has served as Administrator of the Federal Emergency Management Agency since 2021. She has spent much of her career in emergency management, having previously served as Commissioner of the New York City Emergency Management Department, as well as previous positions within FEMA, serving as leader of the agency's National Incident Management Assistant Teams and as a Federal Coordinating Officer. Ms. Criswell served 21 years in the Colorado Air National Guard and is the veteran of 2 overseas tours. Pursuant to Committee Rule 9G, the witness will please stand and raise her right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Let the record show that the witness answered in the affirmative. Thank you very much. We appreciate you being here today and look very forward to your testimony. Let me remind the witness that we have read your written statement and it will appear in our full in the hearing record. Please limit your oral statement to 5 minutes, but obviously you can speak whatever you need to say. We want to hear it. As a reminder, please press the button on the microphone in front of you so that it is on and the members can hear you. When you begin to speak, the light in front of you will turn green. After 4 minutes, it will turn yellow. When the red light comes on, your 5 minutes have expired, and we'll ask that you try to wrap it up at that point. I now recognize the Administrator for her opening statement.
Thank you. Chairman Comer, Ranking Member Raskin, and members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to testify regarding FEMA's efforts in response to Hurricanes Helene and Milton. We value this committee's legislative support and oversight of our agency, and I look forward to our conversation today. On September 26th, Hurricane Helene made landfall in Florida as a powerful and a fast-moving Category 4 storm, with hurricane force winds extending 40 miles and tropical storm force winds extending 310 miles from its center. Helene then entered Georgia as a Category 2 hurricane before becoming a powerful tropical storm that continued to release historic rainfall over already saturated soils as it marched through South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Virginia. There were also impacts in West Virginia and Kentucky. Helene's powerful winds and floodwaters altered landscapes and devastated communities in many places not accustomed to experiencing such storms. The destruction caused by Helene was catastrophic. Less than 2 weeks later, Hurricane Milton rapidly intensified into a Category 5 storm in the Gulf of Mexico. After making landfall in Florida as a Category 3, it moved across the state into the Atlantic, spurring the formation of tornadoes and leaving an overlapping trail of destruction in many communities still reeling from Hurricane Helene. Many of these same communities were still recovering from Hurricanes Ian, Hurricanes Idalia, and Hurricane Debbie. And our hearts have been heavy with the stories of the survivors we have encountered and talked to. People who have lost their loved ones, their homes, and their businesses. These 2 catastrophic storms led to the loss of over 200 lives and caused extensive damages to homes and neighborhoods across the impacted states. There was also widespread disruption of critical services across southeastern United States, including the obstruction of transportation routes, which isolated many homes and communities. FEMA's mission statement is a simple one, spelled out in 7 powerful words: helping people before, during, and after disasters. And in my written testimony, I have provided a detailed account of FEMA's preparation, our pre-positioning of assets and personnel, and our coordination with other federal agencies in support of our state, our local, and our tribal partners. I have described in detail how FEMA responded to these 2 storms across 8 states, mobilizing the full weight of the federal government to help in impacted areas that were not accustomed to this kind of disaster, prioritizing search and rescue efforts, reopening roads to reconnect hard-to-reach areas, delivering essential food, water, and other supplies to residents, and restoring critical infrastructure. And I have described how FEMA is leading recovery efforts in these impacted states, doing everything we can to cut through red tape and expedite assistance to survivors. This has been a challenging time for our workforce of over 22,000 dedicated, hardworking people, many of whom were impacted by the storms themselves and delayed their personal and family recovery to meet our mission needs and respond to the disaster. Our workforce persevered through all of these challenges that I have just described. And they also persevered through a difficult security environment generated by misinformation about FEMA's work to spread through social media, which was spread through social media. Our goal is to help all people obtain all of the assistance that they need and that they are eligible for under the law. And any of the assistance and any misinformation that was out there was making this much more difficult for them to get this needed assistance. I greatly appreciate the voices and the support from Congress, from both sides of the aisle during this event, who attested to the work that FEMA was doing on the ground. So I was very concerned when I learned a FEMA employee had given instructions to a disaster survivor assistance team that were completely at odds with FEMA's mission. A critical function of these teams is to go door to door, to meet with disaster survivors, to make them aware of FEMA programs that are available for them, and to help them register for needed assistance. This employee wrote to about 11 staff members under her supervision that they should, quote, avoid homes advertising Trump, end quote. My senior leadership team provided me with this visual evidence that the employee had, in fact, issued these instructions, and they recommended that this employee be terminated, and I concurred and directed the termination of this employee. I released a statement that day, and I will repeat what I said to all of my employees and the American people. This type of behavior and action will not be tolerated at FEMA, and we will hold all people accountable if they violate our standards of conduct. I do not believe that this employee's actions are indicative of any widespread cultural problems at FEMA. FEMA, however, has taken appropriate action to ensure this matter is fully investigated, and I am committed to ensuring that nothing like this ever happens again. In the meantime, we have sent a new team to the field to contact all of the homes that had been skipped over at this employee's direction, and that work has been completed. Now, I know that this incident is on the minds of many members of this committee and across America, and I will be happy to answer your questions on it. However, I also hope that we will be able to have a chance to discuss the great work that our workforce has been doing in response to Hurricanes Helene and Milton, as well as the important challenges that lie ahead in the recovery effort. Thank you again for this opportunity to testify, Chairman. I look forward to your questions.